We hereby call the Iberia Parish Council July 25th meeting to order. It is now 6:25. We have the prayer with Mr. Tommy Landry. Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Mr. Gonsalves.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Tommy Pollard. Michael Landry.
Here.
Tommy Landry.
Here.
Lloyd Brown. Warren Goshsing. Natalie Broussard.
Here.
Paul Landry.
Here.
Ricky Gonsalves.
Here.
Joe Dugas.
Here.
Eugene Olivier.
Here.
Brian Napier.
Here.
Burritt Francis.
Here.
Marty Traha.
Here.
Chad Montreal.
Okay, we have a quorum. First, we need to motion and a second to go into public comments. Have a motion by Michael Landry, a second by Natalie Broussard. Roll call. Tommy. Ricky, Brian. Perfect. Okay, we're now in public comments. Item number 1, comments from the general public on non-agenda items. Item number 1, Mr. Carl Viator to address the council regarding drainage issues with Segura Canal on Viator property. Mr. Pat, go ahead.
I'm Pat Viator. I live at 204 Santa Inez, City of Iberia. But I do own some property in the country. At the beginning of the year, the parish dug the Segura Branch Canal, which is the L4D, and it matches up with the M4, which is the Petitons. And that canal ties in to the D. LeBlanc. And the D. LeBlanc is water that's coming from the base, even comes all the way from Garden Dog. And they did cut the ditch, and I did check with the NRC. The bottom of the ditch was supposed to be 9 feet. When you dig, you're supposed to slope. Well, actually, they dug. They were in a hurry, and I don't, blame anybody, but the ditch did fall in. And there is only 25 feet right away on each side of this ditch. And I think I did present that information to Dean Watney, so I don't know if Andy has that information. And so all I'm asking, Tommy Pollard came out and looked at it. Mr. Paul Landry came out and looked at it. And our parish president came out and looked at it because he was concerned about it too. So he and I kind of talked about it, and we kind of came up with an agreement. And I would like to let Larry go ahead and discuss the agreement that we came up with, which would be a fair, instead of bulkheading, it would maybe cost $20,000 to bulkhead it.
Well, we didn't talk about bulkheading,
Well, one of the parish councilmen talked about bulkhead.
no.
Wait, let me go a little further. The ditch was dug in 1967. That's 51 years ago, okay? And in 51 more years, we're all going to be gone. So they're going to have 25 foot on the opposite side. And really, the next time they dig it, they need to dig it on the opposite side. Now, we own both sides there. So we want to come to a simple agreement. And the only thing we want to make sure is put into the clerk of court. So down the road, we're going to have a paper trail. Because you can't trust politicians.
I appreciate that comment, Mr.
No, I
Viator.
was the politician, don't worry about that, Paul.
That's why he said that on that.
I served for 12 and a half years on the city council of the city of Newberry.
All right, Mr. Richard, do you have any comments, or?
Yes, I went out and I looked at that particular ditch last week. In fact, I think Betsy was with me when I went out. And we have some concerns there. I could clearly see where the parish, they had some errors that was actually made. However, I didn't get an opportunity to talk to the council yet and tell the council what my recommendations are from what I talked to you about.
Yeah.
And one thing I pride myself on is trying to inform the council on everything that's going on before we try to make something public. I do have, I did talk to Pat, and I think we need to try to make what was done wrong right. But before I would get on television and started saying what's going on, I would prefer talking to the council, like I normally do with y'all, get on the phone, call you guys or whatever and tell you what's going on and get your opinion on what's going on, because what I say is not for the council. I can't speak for the council, but I can speak and say what I think we need to do. And he's correct. I did talk to him. I did go out there, and I think there are some errors that took place, and we need to correct them. Is that good?
That's correct.
All right, and I will be getting with you guys, and hopefully at our next meeting, if you so desire, we can try to adjust the errors that was made and try to see what we can do to make this right. Okay? Thank you.
Appreciate it. Maybe Marty, see if we can put it on committee next week, next
Okay.
meeting.
And Marty, I'll be
Half
certain
is
to talk
in
to
the
you.
Martins,
And,
and the other half is in
Chad.
Montreal. Tommy Pollard's gonna take the bus and go show you a little tour of everything.
All right.
I'll pay you, Tommy, don't worry.
Item number 2, comments from
Tom.
the general public on agenda items. Number 1, persons being considered for appointment to parish boards and commissions to address the council. Let's see, the first person up is Miss Catherine Kitty Courts with the library, 138. Miss Kitty?
Good afternoon, Council. I'm Catherine Kitty Court, and I'm a candidate for the Iberia Parish Library Board seat. And I've worked very hard to bring us to 2 new libraries, one in Coteau and one in Louisville. And I sincerely would like to see these 2 major projects brought to fruition and to keep the Iberia Parish Library as centers of information, culture, and entertainment. Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you, Ms. Courts. Next up is Miss Virginia Lewis, also on item number 138.
Good evening. I'm Virginia W. Lewis, a resident of District 5. I'm here to express my interest in serving again on the library board. I am a retired educator of Iberia Parish Schools. I currently serve as an adjunct professor and an educational consultant. I have a lifelong passion for learning and for literacy. I have found that our libraries are the centers of culture, activity. They're vibrant and they're engaging. They are progressive with the types of offerings they have, as well as the technology and advancements. As a member of the past library board, I was able to serve the parish, and we now have the West St. Peter branch as well as the Parkview branch. I would like to continue to be a part of this innovative movement in our parish, this center of culture, and serve the community. I have experience in community and public service, and I solicit your favorable response to my offer and this opportunity to serve.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Next up is Miss Natalie LaRue on the same item. Miss Natalie?
Hello and good evening. My name is Natalie LaRue, and I'm applying for the seat for the Iberia Parish Library Board. I'm a resident of District 1. I've always had an active role in our community and look forward to continuing in the Library Board position. I'm a graduate of Leadership Iberia, an active member of Cajun Kiwanis, and on tap. I have worked at the United Way of Iberia and the Mayor's office under Mayor Curry. I have volunteered at the Chamber of Commerce and St. Francis Diner on countless occasions. My knowledge and background of the Louisiana library system with 4 years at the university level can help me provide the necessary leadership to keep the Iberia Parish libraries on an even keel. I strongly believe that we have tremendous libraries and staff working within them. My efforts as a library board member would center on financial responsibility as well as more transparency to the community. by making the community aware of what the library board is planning and hoping to accomplish will open the door to more community commitment. I can bring new ideas and fresh perspective to the board. I ask for your support so that we can establish community partnerships and develop our visions for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Natalie. And then we had a Mr. Kenneth Tuchek, but yours is on the committee, so we'll hold that one until the committee meetings after the full council. Okay, let's see now. Okay, we have a Mr. Cornell DeCluet with the Generate Veterans here that could, okay. State your name, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Cornell DeCluet Sr. I'm applying for the board on for 549 American Legion, Generate, Louisiana. I'm a high school graduate of Generate Senior High in 1970. I'm a graduate of Grambling College. I am an honorable discharge veteran, and I think that I could be a highly asset to 549, the building. And that is my hope, you know.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Cornell. And last, we have a Mr. Casey Thibodeau with Sewer District Number 1. Mr. Casey, are you here?
Yes, sir. So I'm reapplying for the seat on the sewer district. Served the past couple of years there. You know, trying to move it towards the right direction and make it run efficient as best as possible for the people of the parish. So looking for that seat again.
Mr. Casey, as you know, I come from the sewer board, and I keep an eye on over there, and I commend you on a lot of things you put on the board, so I appreciate you applying. Okay, that's it for that. I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Ms. Broussard and a second by Mr. Brown to go back into regular session. Roll call. That motion passes. Reports, finance, and administrative action, we have none. Reports, we have none. Public Works reports, Public Works Department report for closed work orders dated July 2nd to 6 and 9 to 13. And item number 2, Public Works Department report for open work orders dated July 17th are in your packet. Special business, we have none. Council member announcements. Anybody has anything they'd like to? Mr. Olivier?
I can take this opportunity to invite everyone to the 10th Annual Town Hall Meeting, which will be held August the 2nd, 2018 at 6:30 p.m. The Town Hall Meeting will be held at Mon Ami in Grand Mary, located at 7304 Highway 90 East, Generate, Louisiana. Our featured speaker for this meeting is Mr. Mark Thomas. He's the Deputy Secretary for the Louisiana Department of Health, along with other local officials from the parish and the state. Thank you. Also, as most of you know, I did attend the annual NACO conference in Nashville, Tennessee, July the 12th through the 16th. I'd like to give just a little recap of the conference to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Of course, I began my day on Thursday the 12th with fellow members from around the country in open registration. Then I had the opportunity to meet with fellow members from the Louisiana delegation and friends that I met in past conferences. A lot of fellowship was shared, a lot of idea sharing was also done at this time. Later that day, I attended a Smart Country Summit, technology-driven innovation reception, which we had some featured speakers at this reception, and it really flowed real well. The rest of the week followed with Transportation Policy Steering Committee meetings. These meetings covered a period of 2 days, resolution meetings, subcommittee meetings, and business meetings. Other meetings include health outcome and innovative housing and health care, healthy communities through innovative partnerships, environmental, energy, and land use steering committee business meetings, Gulf State Caucus and Parish Caucus meetings, South Region Caucus meetings, Rural Action Caucus meetings, NACO Board of Directors Resolution Committee meeting, which the board passed 97 resolutions from issues from agriculture and rural affairs to transportation. If anybody would like actually a copy of some of the resolution that was passed during the NACO conference, I have a set here. I can maybe get Brenda to make y'all some copies if y'all would like to review those resolutions. My main focus, of course, was the steering committee. I serve as a steering committee, a member of the steering committee, and we actually passed 9 resolutions out of the steering committee that went in this package. A lot of idea sharing with other members from around the country, which was a very good experience.
We also had an election for second vice president. Gary Moore won the seat for second vice president at NACO. There was 4 candidates running for that position. Some of the highlights of the conference was a general session with the keynote speaker, Eddie George, NFL leader, and Miss Marion Wright Elderman, founder of the Children's Defense Fund. My days was filled with lunch meetings and evening meetings where we had little socials and so forth. The Louisiana delegation met 3 nights after the regular conference had ended. And I think the conference was well attended. They had over 3,000 people from around the country that attended this conference in Nashville, Tennessee. Great experience. I think I walked away learning a lot. And I would invite any one of you to try to attend these conferences whenever they are available. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gonsolin.
Yeah, all of you are aware that last meeting we passed a resolution supporting LSU Ag Center funding. Well, tomorrow is the annual LSU, Iberia St. Mary LSU Sugarcane Research Day. We held in the St. Mary Parish Civic Center to inform all the growers of improved technologies and the status of the sugarcane crop in Iberia Parish as well as St. Mary. So it's a joint effort, and we'll be out there attending. So just want to make that announcement. 8 o'clock
time,
tomorrow
Ricky?
morning. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning starting.
Okay, any other comments? We'll go on to parish president announcements. Mr. Richard.
Just for information, on Northside Road, the striping project in front of Cajun is complete. Lawrence and his crew did a fantastic job. They started yesterday, they finished today. They did a very good job. I attended a Department of Transportation meeting today held in Coteau for the state project, the roundabout at the ramp of Highway 90 and 88. That project, that's going to be a very good project. It's going to be a major safety. It's going to relieve a lot of accidents that's happening there. If I'm not mistaken, over the last 3 years, we had maybe some 35 accidents there, Chad, maybe? Close to that number? Yeah. Oh, y'all mentioned that earlier? Oh, okay. Anyway, another thing we did this week, last week, had a group of volunteers came in from Texas, and we got different businesses here. We got Iberia. We had Mike Richard to donate some services, and we planted some roses. You may have read it in the paper at the Veterans Memorial building. Came out very, very well. We're trying to beautify this parish and the city as much as we can possibly do with the amount of money that we have. Another thing, on Monday I had a meeting that was held with the Division of Administration Recovery Unit and Richard Minville concerning the access road and the Highway 3212 roundabout. This was regarding the capital outlay project that we're awaiting the funds from the governor. Everything is on track. It looked like that's moving forward very, very well. We hope we'll be going out for bids at the first quarter of next year with that project. That's a big project for us. This morning I attended a press conference for the Progress Point Business Park for the site certification program that we have there. I don't know if you heard about that, but that was done this morning. That was a very big deal. Mike Tarantino was in attendance, Troy Wayman, the president of Acadiana, Katie Sashon with Clico, and a host of other people was there. In fact, I even seen Corey over there this morning and many other people. Very well attended, a big deal, a big day for Iberia Parish. We're moving forward with a lot of good things going on here. We're starting to bring the necessary infrastructure, or put the necessary infrastructure in place that we're going to need to get this parish to move forward. And I'm gonna jump off track a little bit. When we're talking about this water stuff that we're talking about with Waterworks number 3, I guess all of you do realize that we no longer have a Waterworks 4, and we're going to have an Iberia Parish Waterworks system. So we have a lot of things and a lot of tough decisions that we're going to have to make, but if we're planning on getting this parish where it needs to be, we're going to have to make those decisions. Another thing is, on yesterday I had a meeting with a company called Everbridge. And this is the mass communications, crisis communication system that you guys have heard me talk about for a while. This particular system is going to give us the ability, when something happens in Iberia Parish, where we can do mass communications instantly. If, for example, and I hope this never happened, but if we happen to have a train derailment somewhere, we can actually plot out that particular area and hit people instantly via text, via email, whatever the case. There's going to be some communications that we're going to have to do to educate the people how to become a part of it. But it's very, very simple. If you want to be notified via your cell phone, for example. You would just have to go in and type in 888-777 Iberia Parish. So whenever we do something, whoever did that, they're going to become a member of that particular deal. It was expedited, or shall I say, we tried to speed it up a little bit because of some of the issues that we had this past year with some of the freezings of the lines that we had in Koto. So we needed to come up with a way to get the people aware of what's going on throughout the parish as quickly as possible. But it's not for the Koto area. This is for Iberia Parish. And we're going to be able to give access to anyone that's going to want it. For example, if the Sheriff Department wants it, if the city wants it, anyone can have access to it. It's going to be a fee, but you can have access to it. I also attended NACO last week, and Eugene, you hit on it, so there's not a whole lot I'm going to say, but I'm on the National Association's steering committee. I'm a member of that organization, have been for a while, and I went all the way to Nashville to find out some things that we're doing in Louisiana. One particular thing we're talking about that I got a real good rundown on is economic gardening and stage 2 opportunities for businesses. In fact, it was perfect timing because when I came back last week, I had a meeting with a company here in Iberia Parish on Thursday. So when I met with them, I told them about this here. This particular company is trying to move into Texas. And we have programs in the state of Louisiana that can actually help them do it. So I put together a meeting for this past Monday, so it looked like we're moving along very well with that. There's 4 different things that this particular company is going to be able to receive from the incentives that the state of Louisiana is actually giving that's going to avoid them spending a lot of money. So it was very well attended, you're correct. There's a lot of information that you get from those particular conferences, education, and I think the company that I talked to this week would probably say it's very well worth it. So thank all of you, and I'm not going to keep going. We have a whole lot of stuff that I can talk about, but I know we got to get into a meeting that starts at 6 and we're already at 6:45.
Mr. Napier.
Just a question. Do you have any type of update on the Dutch Gosnell? Where we at with that?
Sure did. Yes, I can. I talked to Paul Ale on Monday, I think it was, and we did some work at the Dutch Gosnell. You remember we had some environmental work that we had to get done. We've completed all of that. Paul is going to get back with us. I think he said, when is it? I think it's Tuesday, very soon. I think it's Tuesday of next week. Then I'm going to get back with the council, and we're going to go over what the proposal is on how we want to go out for bids. If you remember at our meeting, I said I wasn't going to go out for bids until you knew exactly what was going on, because we want to make sure that we set that dollar amount at what we want it to be. So we're moving forward, and according to him, I did ask him if we're still on track for our completion date, and we are. And it's still for February. Good. Thank you, sir.
Before I go on to consent agenda, I'd like to see if Ms. Denise and Ms. Janet Falk would like to get up and talk on item number 134 and explain. I know the resolution says Iberian Industrial Development, but I know there's a number of other community organizations that are in there, so y'all could let us all know about it.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Denise Broussard, and I spoke with a few of you last week about the Work Ready Community Initiative. The Chamber, along with the South Louisiana Community College, IDF, the Iberia Parish School System, and the Chamber, and I'm probably missing Louisiana Workforce. We've gathered together, and there's a committee that we formed to bring the Work Ready Community Initiative to Iberia Parish. And what this would do for us is we would become certified from ACT, which is the organization, it's a nonprofit organization that has created the testing that our children take in high school to go to college. And way back in 1992 and then again in 2006, they realized that not all kids go to college. So they came up with a set of assessments. And these assessments test the kids on work-ready skills, not just to go to college, but if they're ready to go to work. And the assessments are just practical applications. It's not like math, but it's problem solving and reasoning, and it tests them and ranks them on the basis of their ability. So there are 4 certificates: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And of course, the higher you rank, the better your certificate. The great thing about this program is that it's in our schools right now, but the kids don't know what to do with the certificate, and employers in the community don't know that the kids have it. So we have all this whole program, and it's free for us to use. So what we'd like to do is go to, it's a boot camp that ACT puts on, and we need your support. They require that. And there will be goals that we will have to meet. And once we meet those goals, we will be on the ACT site selection. So if there's a potential business that's looking to relocate, they'll see that we have so many students that have tested. Actually, right now, we do have statistics on this website. If you go on it and look, we have, I think, 112,000 certificates because the high school students are testing. And so a potential business would see this and say, wow, you know, New Iberia has a work-ready community, so let's go there. I'm excited about it. It's a program that's already there for us to use. We just need to connect the students with the employers and let them know how to use it.
That's good. The only other thing I would add is that the businesses in the community that we've talked with are very excited about it, and the organization does a lot of measuring, and they can tell you that they have percentages for less turnover, shorter training time, and you know, one of the questions was asked at the board meeting is, what about those soft skills that all the employers are looking for, customer service and how to work in a group and all that, and I have found measurement pieces for that. At early on, I just said, well, you know, if people are staying in jobs longer and they're taking less time to train, some of those soft skills have to be involved, but they actually do have measurements on them too. So it's a process that really the school system is very excited about having us, and SLCC is also working with us, and the business community is just really embracing like nothing I've seen before. So we're really pretty excited about this. Like Denise said, it does take the support of local government. So that's what we're looking for tonight, is you're saying, yes, we want to be part of this. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I just wanted to let everybody know it was supported by more people than just IDF.
Thank you.
Okay, minutes regular meeting of June 13th, 2018, published July 9th, 2018, summary number 134, introduced by the clerk of the council, a resolution in support of the Work Ready Committee's initiative. All is requested by the Iberia Industrial Development Foundation. Summary number 135, introduced by the parish president, a resolution ratifying and confirming the purchase and sales agreement executed for the property located at 320 Providence Street, and to amend the 2018 Public Building Maintenance Fund budget to appropriate said funding for this purpose, all to be funded from the additional interest earnings. Is there any items in the consent that anyone wants to take out? Okay, we'll be pulling summary 135 out, so we'll be voting on the minutes and summary number 134. Roll call. Oh, Mr. Gonsalves? Oh, a motion by Mr. Gonsalves, a second by Mr. Olivier. Roll call. Tommy? Okay, those two motion passes. Now we're going on to summary number 135. Mr. Dugas?
Yes, I moved.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I,
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Olivier, a second by Mr. Brown. Mr. Dugo?
all right, I just don't feel like we need to be spending that money on that property right now when we've got roads to fix, we've got, we delayed some repairs on one of the fire stations because the funding wasn't there, and to be spending more money on more things that we have to maintain, it just doesn't seem right now. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Brown?
You know, that particular property, we've been after this property for years, for security for this courthouse. If you can't stop someone from going in their driveway if they're trying to secure this place. And I'm glad that we have the chance now to buy it, because if someone else buy it, we're gonna pay more than this for this property. So we better not pass up this opportunity to get this property.
Okay, Mr. Napier?
So, this is the property right behind us with the blue house on it,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Correct.
So, I don't know, maybe Larry, you can help me out. So, other than, I understand what Mr. Brown's saying about security, but,
You want me to tell you how this came about?
well, that plus, what is the intention other than security? Is there something you can do with it?
Yeah, let me,
What you gonna do with the house? Can you put an office in there?
no,
Stuff
sir.
like that? No?
Absolutely not, no. No, the house wouldn't be
So,
suitable for.
so what are you gonna, so is there any plans for the house?
Yes, this is not, let me tell you how this came about.
Okay,
if you don't mind.
please.
Several months ago, I got a phone call from the person that owned that house, Ms. Booty. And she told me that she wanted to sell the house. And she said she wanted to sell the house for $70,000. I said, well, I'm not the person that can buy the house. I said, first of all, we can't purchase anything in government without getting appraisals. So I don't know what the house is appraised, what it's gonna appraise at. Do you know? She said no. However, I do know that the long-term goal in this particular area is to try to secure all the way from Center Street to the track, Iberia, from Providence to the track, and Frenchie to the tracks. And I know that we have been trying to, for many years, trying to get to where we can actually acquire these things. So I felt it was necessary for me to make the council aware of the conversation that I'm having with this particular lady. So at any rate, so we went out and we did an appraisal that cost around $400. So the appraisal came back at $32,000. I don't know if all of you have actually seen the type of security that we're planning on doing in this particular area. But as far as that street in the back here, we hope eventually, maybe I don't like to talk too much about security, to be honest with you, but there are some things that we're looking to do on that particular street, and those houses will definitely make it almost impossible to do what we have to do to get this area secured the way we are trying to secure it. With the new system that we have right now that's up in place for the most part, we have 3 cameras left to put up, and we're basically done. And I'm really going a little farther than I want to go right now, Brian, and talking about security.
Yeah, and I'm not pushing you for the security. I'm really not. That's not my intention on this.
As far as this particular building, we kind of like need that spot, to be honest with you. But we will not use that house. In fact, that house will be demolished.
Okay, so again, I'm gonna go back to where in the beginning on EDD, we have to answer for what we spend.
Absolutely.
You know, so we spending. You said 32. I see 38. Am I right?
Oh, they may be have, I don't even, that's not even on mine, period. Mine don't even have a number.
Well, this is
But
in
38
the,
may be
in the
including,
ordinances.
okay, I can maybe explain that. The 38 may be including where they talked about disposing of the actual materials, but the game plan is to try disposing of the wood, stuff when you demolish
So
the
the house.
Right.
So we're gonna get rid of the house and we're gonna spend $38,000 for maybe about 1/8 of an acre, is from what I was told.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just torn on that because it seems excessive. I know she wanted 70. I don't know how that came about.
I can tell
if
you
the
t-
house is
no,
not even
no,
any good.
No, I can tell you something else. Since this hit the newspaper, if we wouldn't have done what we did,
The buy-sell agreement.
did the buy-sell agreement, we wouldn't even be able to buy the house now, because she've actually had people go there since they know that the parish government is trying to purchase the house
Well,
at that cost.
because they want to sell it back to you at a high price,
Exactly.
probably.
You know, so,
no
but-
doubt.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that was one of the best moves we had, and I never forget, I was talking to Andy about it. I got a phone call from Lloyd, and Lloyd was like, "You might want to pay attention, because when this hit the newspaper, it might be more than you think." And so the day before I left to go to the convention, Andy signed up the contract, and we got the lady up here, and she signed it. Thank God, because she called me when I was in Nashville, saying that this morning I had one man come to purchase it. Then later that day, she called me back. She had one man come with the contract for her to sign it, to buy it.
Somebody
And it's so
private-
interesting what's going on here, and I'm talking much more than I should.
That's all right.
Someone even went to buy it from her, and she could stay in it, just so we can't get it as parish government. So, but the
So-
point, and I'm way off
No,
track
I,
with
and I
this here.
understand where you're going with it, but again, I'm gonna get back, and I understand that. I really do.
But
But
this
I'm
is-
gonna,
this
I'm
is
gonna
not
get back
about-
to 38,000 for the property. I mean, do you put yourself behind this seat, in this seat? You'd pay $38,000 for that little piece of property?
I'll put it to you this way. If when we're looking at what we're trying to do in government and protect the people that's coming into this facility, absolutely. I
You would.
Absolutely. I
So-
would. But I want to pass something else on. Because earlier, I think it was Joe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to put words in people's mouth, mentioned what we need to do with roads, what we need to do with TIF. All of those things sounds great. But you can't use those funds to do what we're doing here. So we can't talk about, we would like to get this done, but we're not doing this because we don't have any money in roads. Or we would like to get this done, but we can't do that because it don't work like that. And we need to quit saying things like that, because we're making we're confusing people into what we can and can't do. When you're taking a look at what's going on with this particular piece of property, these funds would be coming from, I would have to assume,
Public
the
building.
interest from public buildings. So it has nothing to do, and you have that money. But it's totally up to the council. What I called myself doing, Brian, is just educating y'all on what's going on for y'all to make that
Oh, yeah,
decision.
look, I'm not here blaming you for
I know that.
anything.
I
I
got
think
that.
you did wise
I
by
got you.
signing that buy-sell agreement, but I'm just trying to justify what this resolution is asking us to do.
Right.
Now, one other question is, there's one other piece of property, right? Oh, there's two more.
Two more.
So
And
without those, this does not, it
Well,
just gets
let
us
me-
closer.
let me
But
ask
is there an opportunity to buy these
for
other
one
two
of them
properties?
for sure right now. But this is the thing, Brian. If we feeling that we're gonna all at once, one day, those three property owners are gonna just come here and line up and say, buy this, I think we're kidding ourselves.
I got you. I'm doing you right.
But listen, this is not about me trying to force you to do anything.
no,
This
no.
is about me trying to educate y'all on what it is that we doing.
I
here.
got you. No, and I'm not
That's all
saying
it
that
is.
at all, Larry. I had some questions,
I know.
and
And
as
listen,
I
you know I'm
normally
gonna try to answer all of them. So
do. No, I just got a problem with the amount and that little piece. And
But that's
so
your praise
until
value.
those are available, there's nothing you can do with that property, right?
until what's available.
To the other two properties, there's. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, that is plenty you can do with that property, what it is. I mean, if you're making a
that's what I'm
perimeter,
asking.
if you're making a perimeter, even if you're going 10 foot farther, yeah, there's plenty you can do.
Until
It's
the
no
other
different
two
than when you,
property-
it's no different than when you're in the military and you're going out for recons and you're going out and you're doing your thing and as of now, you've captured this much property, but you're gonna go in tonight and you're gonna
Yep.
capture
I
this
got
much
you.
property. You're just going farther and farther to meet your goal.
I got you. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
Mr. Olivier. I just want to echo what Lloyd mentioned earlier. Past administrations and past councils always was trying to get the property around the courthouse. This was nothing new to me when it came up. I knew it was for good reason. They wanted to buy all these properties around the courthouse, to expand the parking facilities as well as security. So I definitely would support this agenda item. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Tommy Landry.
Yeah, I'm not going to single out anyone, but I think the public would be better served and councilman would be better served if those discussions were made independently with administration in his office as opposed to done publicly, because we got a deck of cards here, and we've laid out our entire plan. And now we know, won't. Oh yeah, well, we know what they're gonna do. So the more you talk about in public, the less advantage that we're gonna have as a council.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
This is tax dollars.
I know it's tax dollars. I know it is.
And you don't want the people.
No, all
I'm
I'm
not.
saying is-
I'm not asking nothing
Hold
about
on, I got the
security.
floor,
or
I
not.
got
You
the
do,
floor.
and I
All I'm
apologize.
saying is go
But
over there and talk to
If
him.
you singling me
Go-
out, you're wrong.
I didn't say, I said him
Well,
too.
I-
I'm talking about him too, okay?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, go talk to the man.
I'm talking to him now.
No.
I think we public servants. We have a.
Okay, don't you think we would be better served, the public would be better served if we had a better advantage to make a pitch to buy something, as opposed to now, everybody knows, okay, that we're gonna need those properties, so guess what? The price just went up.
Well, I don't think those people who are sitting in those properties are dumb to the fact that Iberia Parish is trying to get those properties.
Okay. Finish, Mr. Tommy. Ms. Broussard?
Yeah, Mr. Napier, I'm going to address you a little bit differently than Mr. Landry did.
Thank you.
I think a lot of times we get stuck on the size of the property and look at, is it worth that amount of money based on the size of the property? And we need to look at location as well. An acre of property out in the country has a much different value than an acre of property in the city. So a piece of property around the courthouse where it is with the demand that they have for it is going to be worth a lot more than somewhere else. So I'd like you to take into consideration that I agree, in normal circumstances, it's a hard pill to swallow to pay that much for that small of a piece of property. But when you look at the demand for it, where it is, what other people will pay, we're getting a really good deal for what we're getting and what we can do. I don't think you can put a price on security and safety. The fact that this is right next door, I mean, even if we don't close down the whole street where the other houses, I mean, we can, it widens the area of where we have that we might be able to close down that street and get some better security. You know, you and I talked about it. We just built the building back there for the clerk of court. This opens up more space, more opportunities, more land for us to expand in the immediate vicinity of the courthouse. Don't get lost in the building that's on it is not good. There's value to the property. It's a good value for the taxpayers. It's a good move for us. I mean, we're looking at parish property. We're saying let's get rid of what we don't need, and sometimes I think, you know, it's hypocritical to say, but we need to buy this. But this is something we need to buy. I mean, it's right next to the courthouse. I think we'd be negligent if we didn't get it. There may be other pieces in the parish that we own that we can get rid of, and we need to start looking at that. But this is not one that we should pass by when we have the opportunity. We have the buy-sell. She's locked in. We know if we don't do it, I'd buy it. I mean, you know, any lawyer would buy it. I told you that, to put their law office right across the street from the courthouse. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy for us to miss it.
Is that Ms. Broussard?
Yes.
No further discussion. We're voting on summary number 135. Roll call. That motion passes. Okay, we're going on to summary number 4922, ordinances introduced by Paul G. Landry, an ordinance altering the boundaries of the Economic Development District Number 1 of the Parish of Iberia, State of Louisiana, authorizing the levy of a sales tax in the new areas of the district, designating the full amount of such sales tax as the sales tax increments in the district from which the local sales tax increments will be determined and used to finance economic development projects in the district in accordance with and authorized by Part 2, Chapter 27, Title 33 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended, and providing for other matters in connection with the foregoing. Have a motion by Mr. Trahan, a second by Mr. Gonsalas. Mr. Trahan.
I'll waive.
Okay, we have a motion to table. I need a second. I have a second by Mr. Napier. No further discussion. Roll call. Okay, that motion passes. Summary number 4923, introduced by Planning Commission, an ordinance amending the Iberia Parish zoning ordinance to approve the reclassification of property on the Bayou to Bayou Road owned by Carl W. Bro and Kenneth H. Bro from agricultural A1 to residential R1 located in District 9. All is reviewed and approved by the Iberia Parish Regional Zoning Commission. Have a motion by Mr. Dugas, a second by Mr. Gonsalas. Mr. Dugas?
Quick question. Why are we amending the ordinance to reclassify this property? Anybody? Ms.
Sarah?
Gary?
So anytime you're going to rezone property, you're amending the original ordinance that granted zoning to all of the parish, basically.
Okay, well, that's
So,
fine. That's
yeah.
perfect. Got that. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Gonsalas?
I waive.
Okay, no further discussion. Roll call. That motion passes. Resolutions. Summary number 129, introduced by Planning Commission, a resolution granting preliminary and final approval to Bayou subdivision consisting of 3 lots fronting on Bayou to Bayou Road in District 9. All is recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission. Have a motion by Mr. Dugas, a second by Mr. Gonsalas. Mr. Dugas? Mr. Gonsalas?
I waive.
No further discussion. Roll call. That motion passes. Summary number 136, introduced by the Clerk of the Council, a resolution accepting the resignation of Mr. Borton Romero as a member of the Iberia Parish Communications District representing an at-large position effective immediately. Have a motion by Mr. Gonsalas, a second by Mr. Trahan. Mr. Gonsalas?
Waive.
Trahan?
Wait.
Roll call. Tommy? That motion passes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would suggest that you withhold notifying the public to fill that position. That's the at-large position that previously was designated for the City of New Iberia Police Department. I think the Communications District is fixing to come back with a request that you amend the ordinance to set that position back for the New Iberia City Police Department, and I checked it, not having any trouble getting quorum, so it won't create a problem.
And Ms. Brenda says she is aware, and she's going to have it on our next committee meeting. Okay. So let's see. Summary number 137, introduced by the Clerk of the Council, a resolution appointing Mr. Casey Thibodeau to the Iberia Parish Sewage District Number 1 Board for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of a term of Mr. Casey Thibodeau, whose term expires August 28, 2018. Have a motion by Mr. Gonsalas, a second by Mr. Napier. Mr. Gonsalas?
I waive.
Ms. Napier?
Waive.
No further discussion. Roll call. That motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Casey, for your time. Summary number 138, introduced by the Clerk of the Council, a resolution appointing 1 member of the Iberia Parish Library Board to a 5-year term to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of term of Ms. Catherine Courts, whose term expires August 28, 2018. Appointment applications received from A. Catherine Courts, B. Natalie N. Leroux, and C. Virginia W. Lewis, E.D. So let's see, we're going to vote on our, I have a motion by Mr. Olivier, a second by Ms. Broussard. Okay. We're going to do ballot voting on your district seats. Okay. District number 1, Ms. Natalie LaRoe. District number 2, Miss Lewis. District number 3, Natalie LaRoe. District 4, Catherine Courts. District 6, Natalie LaRoe. District 7, Natalie LaRoe. District 8, Natalie LaRoe. District 9, Catherine Courts. District 10, Catherine Courts. District 11, Kitty Courts. District 12, Virginia Lewis. District 13, Natalie LaRoe. District 14, Natalie LaRoe. 1 second while we tabulate. Okay, Miss Kitty Courts has 4 votes, Miss Natalie LaRoe has 7, and Miss Lewis has 2. So at this time, Miss Lewis will be pulled, and we'll be voting on Miss Kitty Courts and Miss Natalie LaRoe. So we'll revote. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. I was just told that, no, we're gonna still vote all 3. Okay, I thought the last time we voted, we dropped somebody. Okay, well, it's all 3. Roll call, vote again. What was it we did the other day where we dropped one? Yeah, we did. No, I thought it's like I remember we voted on something with 3 people, and somebody said that the third. No, I know what it was. I was at the school board meeting with Brad and Tim Viator. Okay. District number 1, we have Natalie LaRoe. District 2, Virginia Lewis. District 3, Natalie LaRoe. District 4, Kitty Courts. District 6, Natalie LaRoe. District 7, Natalie LaRoe. District 8, Natalie LaRoe. District 9, Kitty Courts. District 10, Catherine Courts. District 11, Kitty Courts. District 12, Virginia Lewis. District 13, Natalie LaRoe. District 14, Natalie LaRoe. Okay, Kitty Courts has 4, Natalie LaRoe has 7, and Miss Lewis has 2. Okay, go ahead and vote again. I don't know if I should ask that. All right, here we go. District 1, Natalie LaRoe. District 2, Virginia Lewis. District 3, Natalie LaRoe. District 4, Kitty Courts. District 6, Natalie LaRoe. District 7, Natalie LaRoe. District 8, Natalie LaRoe. District 9, Kitty Courts. District 10, Catherine Courts. District 11, Kitty Courts. District 12, Virginia Lewis. District 13, Natalie LaRoe. District 14, Natalie LaRoe. Okay, so we have Miss Kitty Courts with 4, Natalie LaRoe with 7, and Miss Lewis with 2. Go ahead and revote. Okay. District 1, Natalie LaRoe. District 2, Virginia Lewis. District 3, Natalie LaRoe. District 4, Kitty Courts. District 6, Natalie LaRoe. District 7, Natalie LaRoe. District 8, Natalie LaRoe. District 9, Catherine Courts. District 10, Catherine Courts. District 11, Catherine Courts. District 12, Virginia Lewis. District 13, Natalie LaRoe. District 14, Natalie LaRoe. Okay. So we have Ms. Courts at 4 votes, Ms. LaRoe at 7, and Ms. Lewis at 2. Go ahead and re-vote again. It should be perfect. I'm sorry. Miss Lewis, you'd like to speak?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the support demonstrated to me for those persons who voted for me. And I am a true servant of New Iberia. I've been in community service many times. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve. I look forward to the next one, and I will withdraw my name.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and throw those drafts away if we could go ahead and. Wait, that's Berwick's old one. They actually sent a bunch of new ones. You want to double check them? Hmm? Yeah. You mean, yeah. Yeah. Why don't you just take all these? This is 9 to 14. You need to keep Ricky's number 8. I didn't put it, no. Okay. All right, District number 1, Natalie LaRoe. District number 2, Natalie LaRoe. District number 3, Natalie LaRoe. District 4, Miss Kitty Courts. District 6, Natalie LaRoe. District 7, Natalie LaRoe. District 8, Natalie LaRoe. District 9, Catherine Courts. District 10, Catherine Courts. District 11, Catherine Courts. District 12, Catherine Courts. District 13, Natalie LaRoe. District 14, Natalie LaRoe. Okay. Okay, Miss Kitty Courts has come with 5 votes. Miss Natalie Rowe has 8, and Miss Lewis withdrew her name. So Miss Natalie LaRoe, you'll be the next board member on the library. You have any comments? Okay. Yep. Mr. Napier?
Yes, congratulations. But I also want to thank Ms. Courts for your past service to the library board. It does not go unnoticed. Thank you so much. And thank you again for putting your name up, and stay involved, please, Kitty. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
And Ms. Lewis also.
Okay. Mr. Landry?
I want to congratulate you and also the other 2 people, it's rare when we get people qualified that want to serve on the board that don't pay any money. So I want to thank y'all, and hopefully y'all don't go away. Y'all stay in touch. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Richard, was there something you wanted?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank all of you for putting your name in, and I'm willing and able and ready to work with you, and please put your names back up for other boards' positions that's coming available. Where's the support? You did a fantastic job, and thank all of you.
Okay, moving on to summary number 139, introduced by the clerk of the council, a resolution appointing Mr. Cornell DeCluett Sr. to the Jeanerette Veterans Memorial Building Number 2 Board for the remainder of a 5-year term to fulfill a vacancy created by the expiration of term of Mr. Murphy Dougherty Sr., whose term expired April 27, 2018. Have a motion by Mr. Napier, a second by Mr. Gonsalas. Mr. Napier?
Yeah, and Mr. Cornell's gonna do a very good job. I know him personally, so, I support him.
Okay, Mr. Gonsalas?
Unanimous second.
Okay. Roll call. Tommy? And that motion passes. Congratulations, Mr. Cornell. Summary number 140, introduced by the clerk of the council. A resolution granting the extension of a preliminary approval to Cane Brock Apartments District 10. All is requested by the developer, Everett Manuel. I have a motion by Mr. Brown, a second by Mr. Olivier. Mr. Brown?
It's through committee, and we've done this several times with a bunch of these, with Tash Ridge, and so this is something that happens.
Okay. Mr. Olivier?
Yeah, this apartment complex is going to be a great addition to District 10. It's right near the school. We have a good education system right next to it. So I think he just needed a little more time to get his finances straight and so forth. So he still got to go for final approval, but this is the next phase in moving it forward. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? No discussion. Roll call. That motion passes. Summary number 141, introduced by the Recreation and Playground District, a resolution amending 2018 Iberia Parish Recreation and Playground District Fund budget in the amount of $28,439.07 to provide for various adjustments to said budget, all to be funded from the fund balance previous years. Have a motion by Mr. Trahan, a second by Mr. Olivier. Mr. Trahan? Mr. Olivier? No further discussion. Roll call. That motion passes. Okay, I have a Mr. Gonsalas, Mr. Olivier. Roll call. Tommy, Natalie, myself. That motion passes. We'll take a 5-minute recess.